Well, here we are at Intersect, and today I've got the opportunity to speak to Dr. David Rubens. Dr. David is instrumental, is the man behind the ISRM, and what we're going to do today is just understand a little bit more about who are ISRM, what are they achieving, and for whom. Dr. David, perhaps you could just give us an overview here of what ISRM really is all about.
Well, the ISRM is the Institute of Strategic Risk Management, which I established in 2018, and it went live in 2019. So we just came up to 5 years old. And basically what it was designed to do was to create a platform and a space where academics, practitioners and policymakers could come together and have a grown-up conversation about the challenges we're facing in the world today.
So it strikes me it's a very active collective that you've developed. I'm seeing events, I'm seeing new chapters. Are you welcoming all and sundry into the organisation? Who is your target here? Who do you want to join?
The target is anybody who's wrestling with the challenges of what strategic risk and crisis management means in, let's say, 2023, 2024, moving out to 2027, 2030. Of course, most organizations have a Vision 2030 or a Strategy 2030. But that basically believes that the challenges we're facing are 6-7 years down the road, when of course they're here now and today. So our audience is anybody, our audience in our community is anybody who is facing these challenges and trying to work out what does it mean, how do we prepare for that, how do we model it, how do we prepare for it, and how do we engage with those issues in a meaningful way. And within that structure, pretty well anybody's welcome. As long as you come with a good attitude, we're happy to have you.
So it's an active network of professionals globally that's sharing information, theories, practical case studies, I guess, and events. I see that you're delivering events as well.
We use the word community. We believe in it. So we started out very small. We now have over 35 international chapters. We have chapters in 35 countries. Many of those countries have multiple chapters, like America, Australia, for example. The chapters themselves are autonomous, though they tend to be grouped in regions. So the Southeast Asia region, Middle East region, Eastern Europe region, for example. And then they tend to have a mixture of online events, webinars, workshops, and also in-person events now. Of course, that was suspended during COVID. That's coming back very much now. And so what we see is that we are a platform for people. A lot of times people come to us and say, I'm interested in, for example, supply chain management. And we say, fine, if that's of interest to you, I'm sure it's interesting to other people, we will offer you a platform through our webinar program to come on. So we absolutely believe in openness and collaboration. And that's how we built ourselves so quickly in the last 5 years.
There's a real currency in the content that you are producing. You do seem to have your finger on the pulse. When I look into some of the members that you've got, you have a real who's who globally.
We do, and that's academically, it's in terms of NGOs, government agencies. I think that what we've articulated is an understanding that if you're going to engage with the challenges we're facing today and for the future, you really do need to bring that integrated policy, practitioner, and academic framework to play. And it seems to have hit the buttons. It seems that people are open to that and it has value for them, hence where we are today, yes.
Yeah, the voice certainly seems to be expanding out. You know, when I spent some time looking at some of the individual chapters, and one of the things I noticed is that you're encouraging younger professionals through. In India, you're offering a bursary or
I was in India over 40 years ago. I lived in India from 1981 to 1984, and I had the pleasure and the privilege of meeting somebody called Satish Dhawan, who was one of the leading academics and humanists in India at the time. He was the chair of the Indian Space Research Organization, of their scientific community. And I knew his family, and I stayed many times in his house in Bangalore. And he died, unfortunately, a number of years ago. But when we started doing some work in India about 2019, I said I wanted to set something up in his name. And so we set up a scholarship program for 10 Indian students to do a 2-year level 6, level 7 academic diploma program under the Satish Dhawan Foundation, which we set up with the permission of his family. We're very proud of that. It's gone very, very well. Those people are beginning to come to the end now of their programs, and it was something that we very much enjoyed. We do have a new and young professional group. We have a global student network framework. So we do work hard to try and encourage the next generation of people who are coming through, who are going to be our future leaders, to be involved with us from the beginning.
It strikes me that, some organisations are very guilty of tripping over process and tape and not being, shall we say, practical about delivery. I've worked with lots of different organisations, and you do appear genuinely involved, concerned, and very much in full action mode.
I imagine that most organisations represent or reflect their leadership. I don't do administration very well, so I tend to swerve around that. I mean, literally, if somebody wants to set up a chapter, they get in touch and they say, "I'm interested in setting up a chapter." We have a chat. You want to set up a chapter? We set up a LinkedIn group, put something together. Let us know what you feel. It's slightly more process driven now. It wasn't before, but now it is as we've matured. But we can do that within a week or so, and then we go onto the internet. We have a webinar, see who's interested, and write it home from there. So yes,
it's good to see that there is support out there for professionals, because I think you know firsthand, and you've obviously seen it globally, that it's very difficult for somebody who's got a task of looking after security risk management to admit that they might need support. It feels like you're opening that door up and making it a straightforward and easy question to ask.
I think it is, and I think one of the things that's happening is you take somebody who is a very, very good, strong, competent, experienced security and risk manager, and they are equivalent to an engineer who can build a 60-meter bridge. And a 60-meter bridge, that's a big piece of engineering, and they can build a 60-meter bridge anywhere in the world. But you can't ask that person to build you a 5-kilometer bridge across the bay, because that's a different piece of engineering. And from my perspective, when we look at strategic risk and crisis management, whether it's at national level, government level, city level, enterprise level, the people who are being tasked with that are the equivalent of people who are very, very good security and risk managers, but they don't do enterprise risk management. They don't have an understanding of the complexities involved in that. And we do. And we have a structure, we have a methodology. And so we say, if that's of interest to you, come to us. We're happy to discuss it. We're happy to collaborate. We're happy to help and support. And that's hit a few buttons. Yeah.
Dr. David, I think you've given us a very nice sort of umbrella and view of what you're all about. I think our viewers can reach out to you directly through the website.
Through the website. I'm on LinkedIn. Obviously, we're on the website. My email is there. I'm very open to that. I love communication. I love talking about this stuff. So if anybody is interested from whichever part of the world or whatever organisation they're at, feel free to drop us a line. We'd love to have a chat.
Dr. David, thank you for taking time to speak with Security on Screen.
Peter, thank you very much.